The air was electrified with anticipation as the 47th presidential inauguration unfolded, a historic day marking Donald Trump's unprecedented return to the White House. The media spotlight was trained on the Capitol steps, but as the morning sun climbed higher, it wasn't just the swearing-in ceremony that captured the nation's attention. It was Barron Trump. Now 18, Barron had kept a relatively low profile throughout his father's campaign. Known for his tall stature and quiet demeanor, he had grown into a striking figure, often seen by his family's side during rare public appearances. But nothing could have prepared anyone for the transformation he unveiled on this iconic day. Emerging from the motorcade, dressed in a sharp, custom-tailored navy suit, Barron exuded an aura of sophistication. However, it was his hair that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Gone were the sleek, neatly combed locks of his youth. In their place was an audacious, platinum-white undercut with subtle streaks of electric blue. His hair shimmered under the sunlight, like something out of a high-fashion runway show. The crowd gasped audibly. Cameras zoomed in, capturing every angle of the bold look. Social media exploded within minutes, hashtags like #BarronBold and #presidentialhair trending globally. What had inspired such a dramatic choice? The story of Barron's hair began weeks earlier, in a sleek Manhattan salon frequented by fashion's elite. Rumors swirled that Barron had sought the expertise of Lorenzo DeMarco, a celebrity stylist known for pushing boundaries. DeMarco later described the meeting in an exclusive interview. Barron came in with a vision. He said, "I want something that symbolizes stepping into my own identity, but still honors my family's legacy." That's when we decided on the platinum base. It's bold yet timeless, and added the blue streaks as a nod to his father's campaign colors. The choice wasn't just about aesthetics. Sources close to the Trump family revealed that Barron wanted to use his appearance to signal his individuality and mark a transition into adulthood. He's always been under the shadow of the Trump legacy, an insider shared. This was his way of standing out, of saying, "I'm my own person." As Barron ascended the steps of the Capitol, his striking hairstyle seemed to cast a spell over the gathering. Journalists, dignitaries, and attendees couldn't help but steal glances, their whispers creating a ripple of intrigue. Even seasoned politicians, used to the grandeur of such events, found themselves momentarily distracted. The reactions within the Trump family were just as telling. Melania Trump, always poised and graceful, gave her son an approving smile, her eyes glinting with pride. She had been a silent supporter of Barron's bold choice, understanding its deeper meaning. Donald Trump, on the other hand, looked momentarily stunned before breaking into a broad grin. He leaned toward Barron, clapping him on the back, and murmured something that made the younger Trump chuckle softly. Classic Barron. Ivanka Trump was overheard saying to Jared Kushner, her tone half admiring, half amused, "Always full of surprises." While the inauguration proceeded with its usual pomp and circumstance, social media platforms were ablaze with discussions about Barron's hair. Memes flooded the internet, comparing his look to everything from futuristic action heroes to anime protagonists. A particularly popular post read, "Forget Air Force One. Barron Trump just launched Hair Force One." Celebrities joined the conversation, with some praising Barron's courage to experiment while under the microscope of public scrutiny. Fashion designer Tom Ford tweeted, "Barron Trump just redefined what it means to make a presidential statement. Bravo." Not everyone was a fan, of course. Critics on both sides of the political spectrum debated the appropriateness of such a bold look at a formal event like the inauguration. Cable news anchors dissected his style choice with the same intensity they reserved for policy discussions. Still, the overwhelming response was one of fascination and admiration. The ceremony progressed as planned, with Donald Trump delivering a rousing inaugural address that promised to usher in a new era of American greatness. But as the applause subsided and the official proceedings wound down, an unexpected moment stole the show. As the Trump family gathered on the platform to greet attendees, the crowd began chanting Barron's name. At first, he seemed taken aback, glancing at his parents for guidance. Donald, ever the showman, leaned into the microphone and said, "Looks like my son has something to say." "Barron, why don't you step up?" The crowd erupted into cheers as Barron approached the podium. Adjusting the microphone, he began to speak, his voice steady yet tinged with emotion. "Thank you," he began, his gaze sweeping over the sea of faces. "Today is about celebrating my father's leadership and the future of our country. But I also want to take a moment to talk about something personal." He paused, running a hand through his now iconic hair, eliciting laughter from the crowd. This might seem like just a hairstyle, but to me it's a statement. It's a reminder that we're all allowed to evolve, to step into our own identity, no matter the expectations placed upon us. Barron's words struck a chord. The audience, initially captivated by his appearance, now hung on every word. "This country has given me, and so many others, the freedom to be ourselves. And I think that's something worth celebrating every day, not just on an inauguration." The applause was thunderous. Barron smiled, giving a small wave before stepping back to join his family. In the hours and days that followed, Barron's speech and appearance dominated headlines. Analysts dissected the symbolism behind his words, while fashion critics lauded his boldness. Sales of platinum hair dye reportedly surged, with salons across the country receiving requests for the Barron cut. But beyond the media frenzy, something deeper had shifted. Barron Trump, once seen as a quiet and reserved figure, had emerged as a symbol of individuality and self-expression. His moment at the inauguration sparked conversations about identity, expectations, and the courage to defy convention, even on the grandest stage. Later that evening, the Trump family hosted a grand reception at the White House, an opulent event attended by world leaders, dignitaries, and influential figures from various industries. Despite the luxurious surroundings, the glittering chandeliers, the resplendent floral arrangements, and the lavish buffet, it was Barron who remained the centerpiece of conversation. As the evening unfolded, guests approached him not to ask about his father's policies but to commend his boldness. French President Elodie Rousseau, herself known for her avant-garde fashion choices, engaged Barron in an animated discussion about individuality. "Your style is a revolution," Rousseau said with a charming accent. "It's not just about the hair. It's about daring to break the mold." Barron, ever humble, simply smiled and replied, "Thank you. It's been an interesting day." The days following the inauguration saw Barron's name trending on every platform imaginable. Fashion brands scrambled to associate themselves with his look, offering sponsorship deals and partnerships. Luxury brand Balenciaga even released a limited edition line of jackets inspired by the inauguration vibe. But Barron wasn't swayed by the glitz and glamour. He politely declined most offers, focusing instead on a cause he had been quietly passionate about: youth empowerment. In an exclusive interview with a major network, Barron shared his vision. "I've been fortunate to grow up in the spotlight, but not everyone has the support they need to discover who they are. I want to use my platform to help young people find their voice and embrace their individuality." He announced the launch of a new initiative, Unbound, aimed at providing mentorship and resources to teens exploring creative fields. The announcement sent ripples through the youth culture, with celebrities like Billie Eilish and Zendaya pledging their support. Of course, not everyone was impressed by Barron's sudden rise to prominence. Critics accused him of using his father's platform for personal gain, while some questioned the sincerity of his statements. A particularly scathing op-ed labeled him America's accidental influencer, suggesting that his newfound fame was undeserved. Barron, however, remained unshaken. In a rare public post, he addressed the backlash head-on. "It's okay if not everyone understands," he wrote. "What matters is staying true to yourself. That's a lesson I hope to pass on to others." The post garnered millions of likes and comments, with supporters rallying behind his message of authenticity. Behind the scenes, Barron's transformation had sparked new dynamics within the Trump family. While Donald was largely amused by the attention his son received, he occasionally joked about feeling upstaged. "Barron's got the hair, I've got the policies," he quipped during a late-night talk show appearance, drawing laughter from the audience. Melania, on the other hand, had been Barron's quiet confidant throughout the process. Friends close to her revealed that she had always encouraged her son to embrace his uniqueness, even amid the pressures of being a Trump. "I see so much strength in him," Melania reportedly told a confidant. "He has a way of connecting with people that goes beyond appearances." As the weeks turned into months, Barron's influence extended beyond the United States. He became a global ambassador for youth creativity, traveling to countries across Europe and Asia to promote initiatives supporting art and innovation. His signature hairstyle became synonymous with his mission, a visual reminder of his message: dare to be different. In Tokyo, he met with young designers at a cutting-edge fashion school, sharing insights about balancing creativity and identity. In Paris, he delivered a keynote at a youth empowerment summit, drawing standing ovations for his heartfelt speech. "Every young person has the potential to change the world," he said, "but it starts with believing in yourself, even when others don't." Amid his rising global influence, Barron made an unannounced visit to his former school in New York. This wasn't an official event or a carefully staged media appearance. It was a quiet, personal gesture. The visit came as a surprise to students and teachers alike, many of whom remembered him as a shy, reserved boy who preferred blending into the background. Dressed in a casual black jacket and sneakers, Barron walked through the familiar halls, his now famous platinum blue hairstyle catching the light. He spent time speaking with students in art classes, sharing his journey and encouraging them to embrace their talents. One student, a 15-year-old named Ethan, nervously approached Barron with a sketchbook in hand. "I've been told my ideas are too weird," Ethan admitted, showing a series of futuristic fashion designs. Barron smiled warmly as he flipped through the pages. "Weird is good," he said. "Weird changes the world. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." The interaction, later captured in a candid photo shared on social media, went viral. Ethan's designs began gaining attention online, and the story served as a testament to the impact of Barron's words. As Barron's popularity continued to soar, he was invited to sit down with Oprah Winfrey for an in-depth interview. The episode was billed as a candid conversation about identity, family, and the pressures of being in the public eye. Oprah began by addressing the elephant in the room. "Let's talk about the hair. What made you decide to go for such a bold look on one of the most important days in your family's life?" Barron chuckled. "I knew this would come up. Honestly, it was less about the look and more about the message. I've spent most of my life being seen as just the quiet Trump. I wanted to step out of that shadow, to show that I'm more than my last name." The interview touched on deeper topics as well, including the criticism he had faced. "Not everyone is going to like you or what you stand for," he said, "but that's okay. If you try to please everyone, you lose yourself." Oprah, visibly impressed, remarked, "You're only 18, but you speak with the wisdom of someone much older. What do you see as your role moving forward?" Barron's response was heartfelt. "I just want to be someone who helps others find their voice, whether it's through art, fashion, or any other form of expression. If I can do that, I'll feel like I've made a difference." While Barron's influence grew in the cultural and social spheres, his father's return to the presidency reignited political tensions in Washington. Some critics speculated that Barron's prominence was a strategic move to soften the Trump family's image, a claim that the younger Trump vehemently denied. "I'm not a politician, and I have no plans to be one," he clarified in an interview with Time magazine. "I respect what my dad does, but my path is different. I want to connect with people through creativity, not policy." Still, his presence occasionally stirred controversy. At a state dinner hosted for Scandinavian leaders, Barron's unconventional hairstyle once again made headlines, overshadowing discussions about trade agreements. Tabloids gleefully reported that certain diplomats found his appearance distracting. Yet, for every detractor, there were countless supporters who saw Barron as a breath of fresh air in the often stuffy world of political optics. The true turning point in Barron's journey came during a global youth conference held in Berlin. Representing the United States, he stood before an audience of over 10,000 young leaders from around the world. The theme of the conference was Breaking Barriers. Barron's speech was raw and unfiltered. He spoke about the struggles of growing up under intense public scrutiny, the fear of failure, and the importance of taking risks. "Every single one of us has something unique to offer," he said, his voice steady and confident. "But too often, we're afraid to show it because we think we won't be accepted. I've learned that the only acceptance that truly matters is your own." As he finished, the audience erupted into applause. The moment was broadcast live, and clips of his speech circulated widely, solidifying his status as a global icon for youth empowerment. By the end of 2025, Barron Trump was no longer just the son of a president. He had become a symbol of individuality, a champion for creative expression, and a role model for young people navigating a world of expectations and limitations. The platinum blue hairstyle that once shocked the world had become a cultural touchstone, representing the courage to stand out and the power of embracing one's identity. As Barron walked through the halls of the White House one quiet evening, he paused to look at a mirror. For a brief moment, he saw not just his reflection but the journey he had undertaken, a journey that had only just begun. The start of 2026 saw Barron Trump stepping even further into his newfound role as a global youth icon. Invitations poured in from universities, tech conferences, and art collectives, each eager to hear his perspective on creativity and individuality. His initiative, Unbound, gained international traction, partnering with organizations in over 50 countries to foster creative opportunities for young people. In one notable collaboration, Barron worked with UNICEF to launch a digital platform connecting aspiring artists, musicians, and writers with mentors from around the world. The platform, named Canvas, became an instant hit, with millions signing up within weeks of its launch. Critics and supporters alike marveled at how an 18-year-old had managed to create such a far-reaching impact. Barron's next big move was as unexpected as his hairstyle debut. He curated an avant-garde art installation in New York City's Museum of Modern Art, MoMA. Titled Shadows and Spotlight, the exhibit featured works by young, unknown artists from diverse backgrounds. Each piece explored themes of identity, belonging, and breaking free from societal norms. The centerpiece of the exhibit was a bold self-portrait created by Barron himself. In the painting, his platinum blue hair shimmered against a dark backdrop, symbolizing the contrast between individuality and external pressures. The piece drew mixed reactions. Some praised its raw emotion, while others accused Barron of self-indulgence. "It's not about me," Barron explained in an interview. "It's about inspiring others to tell their own stories, even when it feels risky." While Barron's public persona flourished, he privately grappled with the immense pressure that came with his newfound fame. His every move was scrutinized, and even well-meaning supporters often projected their own expectations onto him. In an interview with Rolling Stone, he opened up about the challenges. "There are days when I feel like I'm carrying the weight of 1,000 voices. It's a lot for anyone, especially someone my age. But I remind myself why I'm doing this, to help others feel seen." To cope, Barron turned to painting and music, finding solace in creative outlets. He also surrounded himself with a close-knit group of friends who supported him without judgment, including Ethan, the young designer he had encouraged during his school visit. In a move that sent shockwaves through his fanbase, Barron unveiled a new hairstyle at the close of 2026. Gone were the platinum and blue streaks. In their place was a sleek, jet-black look that symbolized a more mature phase of his journey. The reveal happened during a televised gala in Los Angeles, where Barron accepted an award for his contributions to youth empowerment. In his acceptance speech, he addressed the change with characteristic humility. "This isn't about leaving behind who I was. It's about embracing who I'm becoming. Change is part of growth, and I hope to keep evolving." The shift sparked debates, with some lamenting the loss of his iconic look, while others applauded his willingness to reinvent himself. "He's proving that identity isn't static," one commentator noted. "It's a journey." As the Trump presidency entered its second year, Barron's role in the public eye continued to evolve. Though he remained closely tied to his family, he carved out a unique path that transcended politics, focusing on uniting people through creativity and self-expression. By the end of the decade, Barron Trump was no longer just a figure in the backdrop of history. He had become a history maker in his own right, using his platform to inspire millions to embrace their individuality and redefine what it meant to leave a legacy.